All right, up next we have my beautiful Scorpios. You guys are absolutely my favorite of the zodiac, even though I can't say that because I can't have favorites. But I just noticed that all the people that I love in my life have Scorpio in some way. So I'm very excited because today's reading is about your 2022, and we're gonna go over all the astrology, which is right here in my iPad, and I'm gonna pull cards for each of the major things that you guys are gonna experience to add more context. So we're gonna dive right in. This has been a pretty long video for each of the signs so far. You can see my candle. Maybe you can't actually see, but my candle is gonna burn all the way down. So I'm kind of excited. I hope that you guys enjoy this. And if you want a personalized reading, which I always recommend because the general readings are great, but when you can see it specifically how these transits are going to affect your birth chart, that brings in so much more context. I also have tarot readings if you don't have your birth time available, but I'll drop those readings in the link in the description box below so you can check those out if you're interested. So let's start off with talking about the Nodal Shift, which is happening on January 18th. You guys are going to have the nodes shift into your sign and your sister's sign, Taurus and Scorpio. So the North node is shifting into Taurus in your 7th house, which means the South node is shifting into your sign in your 1st house. So big changes are happening for my beautiful Scorpio risings. You guys are about to undergo some massive shifts in your personality, your career, your life path, your physical appearance, your character, your idea of life. Like, I think that you guys are going to be shedding a lot of old aspects of yourself. And you're going to be stepping into some really powerful energy, especially in your relationships. So it's a time for you guys to get really clear on who you are and what you want out of life. And I think, again, leaving behind some of those things that could be kind of keeping you stuck or getting in the way. And so it's a time in which there's just so much about your life that can change when the South node is in your 1st house. But it's going to be some kind of karmic change, like some long overdue change, some things that when I'm talking right now, you're already thinking about. So it's like these aspects of yourself that are really ingrained and have been habitual and need to be purged. So it's going to be a little bit hard. You are a fixed sign. So this element of change is not something that just comes super easily. It takes effort. And so it can feel uncomfortable to release these really stable or consistent parts of ourselves. And that's what I feel like you guys are being challenged to do. So I feel like this is talking about the South node, and the cards I'm pulling right now are talking about the North node being in your 7th house. The 7th house of relationships, this is an exciting place to have the North node. It's a place in which you can start to push your boundaries or your edge or your comfort zone in terms of relating to, relying on, being vulnerable with, or connecting to certain types of people. So maybe areas of your life where you want to attract more clients. It's like really getting outside of your comfort zone to do that. Doing things that you haven't done before, having different kinds of relationships than you've ever had before. And so it could feel like this really uncomfortable process. And as I say that, I pull the 9 of Swords and the 5 of Pentacles. And I feel like you guys are going to be really diving into a lot of aspects of yourself, including relationship dynamics and certain things that you don't really want to tolerate anymore, or certain patterns that are showing up that are asking to be recognized and let go of. And so that can bring up a lot of anxiety. That can bring up a lot of fear because it's going to require intimacy, vulnerability, relying and connecting on other people. And with the Taurus North node, it's also about stabilizing your relationships, making them practical, making them foundational. And so there might be some ways in which you guys struggle because having the South node in your sign, it doesn't have to be hard, but it can be challenging if we are used to certain ways of being and then have to do things the opposite. So let's look at this with the South node in your sign with the Chariot, the 2 of Swords, and the 4 of Pentacles. I think that this is exactly what I was saying about leaving behind some things that were keeping you like comfortable but small. So that's what I see a lot with this 4 of Pentacles. It's you guys maybe holding or grasping on to certain things in your life specifically personal attributes or like career visions. It can literally be anything, but it's something really tied to your core identity and self. And so the Four of Pentacles is like you holding on to these things within you and not wanting to let them go. And you guys might go through this period with the Two of Swords of indecision of like, well, maybe I can like achieve this success and be this kind of person. Maybe I can have, be like this same way and move forward. And I think what you come to realize is that you can't with the Chariot card. It asks you to let go, to move on, and use your willpower, your force of will to cut off certain aspects of yourself and your life. And so it's something that you want to hold on to, like, no, I want this. This feels safe. This feels really good. And then like, well, maybe I can make it work. Maybe I can't. I don't know. I really don't know. And then it's like, okay, no, I really can't. I have to let that go. I'm going to use my willpower to make different decisions to reverse the existing momentum and create new momentum in your North Node or your positive direction in relationships, cultivating those in your life. So the Chariot feels very positive. It's helping you undo the existing momentum to get to something better. So I like that because the Chariot is about momentum. And as I was saying, you guys already have momentum in a certain direction that you don't want to be there. So it's like you're having to make your willpower decision to cut that off and go in another direction and cultivate that energy again, but in this new way. I hope that's making sense. It's like, I think the Chariot is a blessing in that way. And the South Node is helping you really, like, there might be some aspects that you're like, have been kind of back and forth about for a while, but the Chariot and the South Node are here to say you have this like energy vortex that's helping you really actually cut those things away and really actually make certain changes in your life that you've been holding onto for dear life for a while now. With the North Node in the 7th house, you guys might find that you are attracting like new potential partners. The Knight of Wands is this kind of like fiery energy of like passion and lustfulness and enjoying someone, being swept off your feet almost. And with the Ace of Wands reversed, I'm not sure that all of you are going to be acting on that. You might have multiple opportunities that you guys are turning down. But I kind of feel like it's this role reversal in your life with the Nine of Swords and Five of Pentacles underneath it. Relationships up until this point could have been a little bit of a source of difficulty where you felt like you weren't getting your needs met with these Five of Pentacles. It gave you anxiety. There were certain aspects that were missing for you. And so it kept you up late at night questioning things, worrying about things. And now with the North Node in the 7th house, I feel like people are really gravitating towards you. And this could be any kind of relationship. It doesn't have to just be romantic. It could be a friendship. It could be a familial relationship. It's like you guys were maybe the seekers in the past, or you maybe had to like put out more effort in the past. And I see this changing. I see people coming towards you. The world, the nodes like are literally, the energy vortex is shifting so that other people, like that door is opening from other people to you and the energy is pushing them through. And you kind of have to decide with this Ace of Wands in reverse, do you want to accept all these people or not? I do think that some of them will be yes, because this is upright, and some of them will be no, because that's reverse. So you might get more than one offering of friendship or connection, and it's up to you to use your discernment about what kind of connection you want to cultivate. And hopefully after cutting certain aspects of yourself away, it will be a decision that's made from a really healthy, strong place. So you will attract and say yes to the right people and say no to the people who don't align with, who align with the old version of you or whatever. Okay, anyway. So that's really beautiful. Definitely a really big year coming up for you, even the next year and a half, because eclipses occur along the nodes, which means that you'll have the new and full moons eclipses happening in your 1st and 7th house all year long. And so, not all year long, there's eclipse cycles, but it's spread throughout the year. So essentially what that means is that they have the biggest potential for change in these areas of your life. So you have a lot of potential to finally end some things that you were meant to end and start a new relationship or new dynamics and meet new people, connect in new ways that you've been meaning or needing to do for a while. So this is a really massive, massive, massive year for you guys. Now let's talk about Jupiter and Pisces. So Jupiter is entering into Pisces December 29th. So any day now. I think it's the 22nd when I'm filming this. So in about a week, you guys are going to have Jupiter enter into your 5th house. It will be there until May of 2022. It will dip into another house and then it will dip into Aries, into the next house. And then it will come back into the 5th house for the rest of the year. So for most of this year, you're going to have Jupiter in the 5th, which is actually a lot about dating. So I like that these wands are here. If you guys are single, or if you're wanting to be single, I definitely see potential suitors coming towards you. I definitely see, if it's not suitors and you guys are with someone or whatever, you don't want a relationship, I definitely see people coming into your life that fill certain voids. With the 5th house, I feel like it's these really uplifting relationships, kind of people that bring a lot of joy, that make you feel young again, that make you feel lighthearted. It's a great time to explore certain hobbies and passions, maybe things that you haven't fully dove into yet, or things even from the past, from your childhood, that you really enjoyed. It's a beautiful time to explore things creatively, making new things that are in line with whatever your creative visions are. So it's just super, super nice in terms of like enjoying yourself. I definitely think you guys are having a lot go down this next year. We have to shed a lot, but on top of that, having Jupiter in the 5th is kind of making you get the best out of this. Like, you're definitely taking the whole orange and squeezing the juice out, which can feel exhausting. Like, you're taking out a lot in your life that was holding you down, and now you're like light, like the juice. You know, you can literally just move, you can change, you can adapt, and you can be whoever you want to be. And so there is a heaviness that you have to let go of, and there is that challenge in that. But with Jupiter in the 5th house, it's like you get to drink the juice. You get to enjoy the pleasure of how that tastes. And so I feel like you guys are going to finally embrace some of that into your life. Okay, I pulled the 8 of Cups, the 4 of Swords, the King of Cups, and the 3 of Swords. I definitely feel like you guys are cutting away certain relationships and attracting new ones. Or if you're not cutting away relationships, it's like you are making a lot of sense out of old relationships. With the 8 of Cups and the 3 of Swords, this is about leaving people in your life who just hurt you and really actually leaving that cycle. And now with the King of Cups in the middle, it's, you know, your worth, right? Someone hurt you, you understood your worth, you understood that you weren't accepting that anymore, and you walked away. And so I feel like there are lots of situations with people in our lives where people disappoint us. And I think that you guys have been experiencing that up until this point in time. And with Jupiter finally moving into your 5th house, it's like justice is served. You can finally rest. You can finally enjoy your own company with this person meditating with the heart in the center. They are very connected to themselves. They are very in tune with themselves. They love themselves. They are secure in themselves. And I feel like you guys are going to, if not already, are going to go through this process with Jupiter in the 5th, where you achieve the state of balance or homeostasis, of just joy within yourself, contentedness on your own. And I think that's usually when we attract the people into our lives that want to be there. And so it's like we love ourselves and have so much balance in our lives that now with the North Node in the 7th house, it's opening that vortex and aligned energies finally coming in. So this feels really, really positive. If you've been feeling like low self-worth, this is a journey that you're still going on. But if you have strong self-worth, if you know what you're worth, and you're willing to cut away people who disappoint you, you will find that equal balanced relationships start coming into your life because you are balanced within. Now we're talking about Saturn being alone in the 4th house, because Jupiter moving into the 5th means it's abandoning Saturn alone now in the 4th. And having Saturn alone in a sign, in a house, can prove a little bit more difficult because Jupiter does help that area of our life. And so Saturn alone in the 4th can create a little bit more challenge in regards to our home, our family, or our foundations, even sometimes our emotional health. And pulling the 8 of Swords, I think that you guys might worry about the foundations of your life a little bit more, especially with the South Node in your sign. Like, aspects of yourself are crumbling. And so because of that, you guys might feel like the foundation is also really being shaken up. Shaken up, shaken up, shook up, shaken up, shooked up. Anyway, comment in the description box below what the fuck that word is, because I'm not saying it right. So yeah, that's really what I feel like is going to cause some anxiety as a fixed sign. It's like you want to grasp onto the known, the tangible, the familiar. And so having that foundation kind of within yourself and maybe even in your home, having that stressed a little bit, like maybe you don't know where you're going to live, or maybe you can't afford your mortgage, or maybe you're having a fight with your family, or maybe you just feel emotionally taxed. Maybe all those things are not happening, but you just emotionally are a little bit more worried about your stability. And so Saturn there can definitely cause a little bit of worry, but also with the Queen of Wands, I feel like it's liberating you in a lot of ways. It's not like you are just, look, okay, Saturn in the fourth, or Saturn anywhere, is asking us to become more responsible, to put more effort. It doesn't just mean we're going to be hit with delay and hardship after delay and hardship, although that could happen. But it's mostly about us really enduring through some things in order to learn and become solid in them. And so your foundation is being challenged this year. It's likely going to cause anxiety, I'm not going to lie. But on top of that, with the Queen of Wands here, what you're getting out of this experience with Saturn moving through there is becoming a lot more confident and self-sufficient. I feel like it's you guys cutting away these old aspects and then realizing like you're still good, you know, like you don't actually need other people. I mean, although with the North Node in the 7th house, you are meant to have people help you, or meant to connect with people a lot this year. It's not about doing it all on your own. But the Queen of Wands is like, I actually don't need all these things for my foundation. Like, I'm good on my own. I'm very confident. I'm very sure of myself. I know what I want next. So that's the gift of having Saturn transit through the 4th house, is a lot of self-knowing. And that comes from usually not knowing things about yourself, or having things taken away and having to see what's left. And so that can be destabilizing and anxiety provoking. But then ultimately what you're left with is like a super strong understanding of who you are, what you're here for, what you value. I mean, maybe you don't always know what you're here for, because it's the 4th house, not the 10th house necessarily, but it's just a lot about like, this is who I am and this is what I need to thrive. And so I feel like that's what the Queen of Wands is this like sexy, confident person who's owning their ish. And that's what is coming on the back of having some things taken away. So that's what I'm seeing for Saturn. In terms of lucky months, I see, I mean, maybe not luck necessarily, but big months for you is October and November. That's when the sun is in your 1st house if you're Scorpio rising, and Venus. So this is a time in which we tend to shine brighter. We tend to attract more love and attention into our lives, more career recognition. We have more possibilities for income. That's generally what it means when these planets transit the 1st house, as well as more attractiveness in general. So you guys might start to find that in October and November time. This is your time to shine. All right, now I'm going to pull some cards around specific events for you guys. So I'm going to first start off talking about the Venus retrograde. So right now, as I am speaking, December 22nd, we are experiencing the first Venus retrograde since the last one a year and a half ago. It's hanging out in Capricorn along with Pluto, and it's retrograding until January 29th. So it's a time when a lot of us are reflecting about our relationships, about our money, and specifically for you in the 3rd house, a lot about like what is said in those dynamics or what isn't said, or the thought process behind it. And so a lot of us are like, how is my communication? What am I thinking about this relationship with this person? Or what am I thinking about my relationship to money or self-worth? And it's a lot of being in our mind and needing to also express what's on our mind. And so you guys might also especially look at relationships with siblings. That's not going to be the case for everyone, but the 3rd house is related to siblings and neighbors. So those relationships could especially come to the forefront. And it could just bring about a little bit more around your community. So it's a time of reflection. It's a time when we are definitely kind of having the issues of the past come up to the surface. So past relationships, past patterns from past relationships coming up in the present one. Like, issues around boundaries, the things that come up again and again for people, or any kind of crack or crevice in the relationship is brought to the surface. So that's a time from now until January 29th when we'll really get to examine that. And then even until March, we're going to have Venus in Capricorn. So we will have an opportunity for us to go really deep around the essentials and the foundations of this area of our life. So what do I really need in terms of my relationships? What do I really need to think? And what do I really need to communicate specifically for you in the third house? But let's see what else is coming up. We got the Magician, the World, the Wheel of Fortune, the Seven of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles. Interesting, you guys. So some of this might be around money for you guys. So money mindset could definitely come up as a thing. Especially with the Magician card, it's like, I can manifest anything. And next to the World and Wheel of Fortune, it's like, for real, like you actually can manifest anything. Like you are ending a cycle of maybe not knowing what you're capable of, and maybe experiencing a little bit of self-doubt with this retrograde around your finances or your capability to cultivate and manifest finances. But the Wheel of Fortune card is telling me that that's all shifting. So like once you are birthed from this canal of the retrograde, like towards March, I feel like you guys are going to be seeing how on top of the world you are, how powerful your mindset is. So any self-doubt you have around finances, I really feel like is shifting. It could be around relationships too, but I really feel like it's a lot of finances with all these pentacle cards. I just do. And so some of you guys could be manifesting a love connection or a friendship, but yeah, take it how it resonates. I think a lot of it's around money. I also see Seven of Wands, Ace of Pentacles versus Ten of Pentacles. So I do feel like you guys are going through this interesting phase. Yes, you're realizing your strong manifesting powers. I feel like this is the outcome. Like this is what you achieve after this retrograde period. But I think this is kind of like the process, if that makes sense. So the Seven of Wands, let me actually pull out. Sometimes I like to pull out the thing and read what it specifically says. Let's see what it says for Seven of Wands. Because I have an idea of what I want to say, but I also want to read it on top of this. So let's see. Perseverance, integrity, transcending obstacles in your path, being prepared to fight and struggle for what you believe in, trusting in yourself, rising from the ashes, fight or flight, self-truth, courage in the face of adversity. Okay. I think some of you guys might be facing some literal obstacles in finances at the start of the year. And that's why I feel like in March, you guys actually realize that you have the potential to manifest what you want. I don't know if you actually are manifesting right away, but I don't know the time frame, but I absolutely see that you guys have that potential here with these cards, and you realize that that's the outcome. But you have to realize that, or you will realize that after a certain amount of struggle. With the Seven of Wands, there are obstacles. There are actually things getting in the way, especially with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. I feel like this is saying like money opportunities that you thought were going to be there are not there, or that they are there, but you don't actually want to act on them. So it's like the ones that you thought were there are not there, or yeah, like the ones that you do want, the ones that you do want aren't there, and the ones that you don't want show up and you're like, get the fuck out of here. I don't want that. And I think that this is a really important testing period in a way where you have to realize that you can have the Ten of Pentacles. It's like holding this belief, because look at how it ends. Like you're having this difficulty, but it ends in complete abundance. And so this with the Magician card to me is saying you are a manifester of a solid foundation and abundance, but you're going to be mentally tested, especially your discernment about what opportunities to take and not take. The universe, I think, is going to test out your desperateness. I feel like it's going to try to see, like, will you, like dangling a carrot, like we're going to put obstacles in your way for achieving money the way that you want to achieve money. And then we're going to dangle a carrot of easy money. Like, here, come work at this quick and easy job. Like, you can make money right away, but it's not anything remotely in line with your long-term goals. And it's like, if you choose the path of long-term sustainable goals, not to say that you can't do what you need to do in the moment to make money, but don't get lost in that. Like, use your discernment about how to structure your day and how to take on opportunities or reject certain opportunities to manifest what you want long term. And that, I think, is absolutely going to shift for you. You're going to reach this point where you realize that you are the 10 of Pentacles. You are the Magician. You can manifest money. And I think a lot about your relationship to money is going to change, especially in these first few months of the year. So that feels really powerful. Let's talk about March 2nd, where Venus is conjunct Mars and Pluto in the 3rd house. And I think that this is kind of like this rising up of energy around this topic. So let's see what happens for you guys then. The 4 of Cups, the 5 of Swords, the Emperor. Okay, I feel like this is really what I was saying before. Wow, you guys, this is definitely something coming in that you are not wanting to act on. And instead of like normally me saying that, like normally this is like rejection of a blessing, but given this message up here, I feel like what's happening on March 2nd is like a little bit of a test, or around this time. Instead of it being a rejection of a blessing, I feel like the universe is trying to dangle some kind of easy carrot, easy money, and you guys with the 4 of Cups are turning away from it. You're not fully accepting the opportunity. And this might leave you a little bit more distraught. I feel like you might question your decision. You might feel like you fucked up or you're making mistakes, and you really go into this like self-paralysis or beating yourself up, self-flagellation. But ultimately you end up as the Emperor. The Emperor, the 10 of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune. These are aligned for a reason, you guys. These are aligned for a reason. It's telling me that your fortune is changing and you are cultivating long-term success financially and stability. But the Emperor is somebody who knows exactly what he's doing. He looks into the future. He knows how current decisions affect future outcomes. And he knows that even though he rejected this blessing now, that the universe is abundant. The first card that I pulled, not pulled, but like kind of flipped over for you guys, was the Empress. So there's something there. The universe is abundant, and the Emperor knows that. So the Emperor doesn't just act on any kind of whim. He knows that he's playing the long game, and he's waiting for the right type of abundance for him. And so I feel like you guys ultimately might waver. You ultimately might struggle mentally with this decision and maybe beat yourself up for it after. But once enough time has passed and you realize that you are reaching new levels of success because you use discernment on what opportunities to go for and what opportunities to decline and where to put your energy, that which is happening on March 2nd is going to help you manifest some serious abundance. And that's what Venus and Mars do together. They bring in that passion, they bring in that vigor, and Pluto added to the mix is bringing in intensity. And so you guys are having definitely a lot of emotions around these financial experiences, and a lot of it is mindset. A lot of it is mindset because it's in the 3rd house. It's like 5 of Swords, I'm worrying about this. The 7 of Wands, I'm struggling with this. It's all of these like mindset things that are coming up in the way. But ultimately, you guys are overcoming it, and you are the Emperor and the 10 of Pentacles and achieving success. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other transits happening. All right, up next for you guys, we are looking at April 4th. When Venus is conjunct Saturn and Mars in your 4th house in Aquarius. So we have the World card. There's a lot of planets coming together. That's why I love having tarot with it, because the energies of the planets are so distinct. And when they mix and blend together, it's highly dependent on like how things want to come through. Like highly variable, I should say. Yeah. The World, the 6 of Pentacles. This reminds me a lot of what I was saying about Saturn being alone in the 4th house, and you guys having to like look a lot at your emotional history with your family. Was I saying that? I'm like starting to forget now since I've done so many readings. Or having like, oh no, sorry, not that. It was your foundations. It was talking about your foundations, having those kind of crumble in certain ways with the South Node being in your sign, and having to achieve more confidence without those elements of yourself. So this to me is kind of like play off of that energy with Mars and Venus here. And I think that you guys are going to be really motivated at this time to make some big changes in those foundations. And with Venus, it's like it's going to have a positive outcome, a positive result. With the World and the Six of Pentacles, why do I keep getting the Four of Cups for you guys? There are things that you just don't want to face at this time, or like, not that you don't want to face it, but like the universe keeps trying to put things in your path and you have to like decide whether or not you want to do it or act on it or not. That's a really strong message I'm getting for Scorpios. Anything that you can do to work on your decision-making process, which is, for me as a Gemini and having Jupiter and Libra, wow, am I like the worst at indecision. And I think that that's something you guys really have to work on this next year, or is going to be honed this next year. It's like, do you want to go down this path or this path? Do you want to invest in this or not? Like really being faced with a lot of decisions about your life. Whereas normally things kind of go with the status quo and they go with the flow. That's not this year. You guys are having some major life decisions this year. And I can see that with the World and the Six of Pentacles. I feel like this day on April 4th, when Venus, Saturn, and Mars arise, you guys are being asked to look at some of those things in the foundation and end certain cycles in that area of your life. So this might be the time that some things come to the surface around where you've been playing it safe. And I feel like the World card is trying to tell you that the world is on your side with the Six of Pentacles, that you can take risks and leave the foundation of your home where you're used to, and you can venture out into the world and find that you're supported and find that people will show up and that it will meet your aid. It's okay to take risk. It's okay to be adventurous. With the Knight of Swords, I feel like this is a very adventurous card. It's like really diving right into it. And I think that at first with the Four of Cups, you guys are not so sure. Like you don't know if this change or leaving the nest in a way. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like someone leaving the nest with the Four of Cups. It's like you guys are really not sure about it. You don't know if you want to take action on that or like go towards that risk. The Knight of Swords, though, is telling you to throw caution to the wind. Don't think about it. Knight of Swords thinks, but he thinks really quickly and just decides really quickly. He doesn't invest this time of like rumination over and over again. And that's what I see ends in the Four of Wands. I feel like you guys are going to find more foundation, more happiness, more to celebrate by leaving behind something that feels very safe for you. And so that feels like a big time to let go of the reins, let go of the roots, let go of the nest, and fly away to something that feels a little bit scarier, but a lot more fulfilling in the end. Now I want to look at Jupiter and Neptune in the 5th house. These planets are going to align on April 13th. One of the best times for relationships. The 5th house is such a great house to have this in, such a great time for creative projects, your family, your relationship with your children, your sex life. All those things can really start to feel like they are just overflowing with happiness. And the 5th house trines the ascendant, so this is something that could even kind of inform your purpose, you know, like the joy like of having children, the joy of creating something is what partially informs your purpose. And so I definitely feel like life is going to feel more alive at this time, April 13th. Maybe less productive, but just so much more enjoyable. So let me pull these cards away because some are not coming out. So let's see. So what does this mean for my beautiful Scorpios? April 13th. King of Swords, Queen of Wands. Remember what I was saying about like being decisive? Queen of Cups and the Lovers. Okay, I'm just saying. I feel like you guys are deciding on someone. And this could be. This doesn't have to be like a romantic partner, although it could be. But I feel like you guys are choosing people in your life that like really fill you up and feel like they are divinely guided towards you. Like, this is my tribe. Like, this is my partner. This with the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Wands, like, they are inspiring to you. They are fulfilling to you. They are emotionally supportive for you. It's like all these divine connections coming through at this time. Venus is already a relationship planet. Jupiter is already in the 5th house of these kind of social dynamics and pleasures. So I feel like the most beautiful things are coming together in one of the most beautiful houses, and they are offering support and love to you on April 30th. King of Swords, I feel like this is you guys. I feel like this is you guys like making decisions somehow, because I've been talking a lot about that. Making decisions from a place of creativity and confidence and intuitive inspiration. And whatever decisions come through at that time, like, hey, I want to pursue this new craft, or I want to go all in on this business, or I want to like start this new venture, or I want to enter into this new relationship. Whatever decisions you are making is coming from such a good place that it results in things that are completely aligned to you. It doesn't have to be people, it can be circumstances. And so whatever occurs is passionate, intuitive, emotionally aligned, and that's why you are feeling completely fulfilled and at home in yourself in whatever this opportunity is. So, wow, you guys. I said April 30th or April 13th? Oh, that's April 13th. I'm not talking about relationships, actually, because it could be relationships. So this is, so I kind of feel like this is actually more of a creative venture. I was saying stuff about relationships, but that's more so on the 30th when Venus and Jupiter are together. I got kind of confused there for a second, but that's really what I saw like as a second message. Not that you can't have relationships with this, like you definitely could be drawing in some key partners for sure, with these cards together especially, but I definitely feel like there is some kind of really purposeful vision coming through at this time that excites you within your creative self or your intuitive self or your emotional self or your passionate self. Like there's something that you're going to make a decision to act on that I think is going to be really fulfilling. And then on April 30th, you have Venus and Jupiter aligning in the sky in the 5th house. And then that's more about the relationships. So let's see what comes through then. I mean, again, I think it could come through on the 13th and kind of continue on to the 30th. Like, these things are not really super date specific. Ooh, Six of Wands and King of Pentacles. Okay, so maybe this... Okay, I think there's two messages going on here. Like, sometimes I argue with myself, and that's, again, another show of this indecisiveness. But anywho, all these things are basically saying you have potential relationship connections and definitely some kind of, like, inspiring idea that you're acting on. And then on the 30th, I really feel like you guys are achieving some success from that. So if this is a person, it's like the relationship is solid and great and you guys are going public. If this is a creative idea, it's you guys like immediately being received, because this is only 17 days later. So this is you guys immediately being received by those around you or the public in a really beautiful way. People recognizing the brilliance of this idea, the authenticity of this idea for you specifically, and being able to achieve something successful from this, like something foundational. So April seems like a really big month for you guys to birth a creative vision and actually get success from it. Something that can last, and that's because it's so aligned with who you are. And it's like people can feel the reverberation of somebody living in their essence and in their passion. They can feel that through the voice, through the tones, through your body language. And I think that people will pick up on that with the Six of Wands. You have a public image of some sort with this. People are seeing you out in the world and they are like backing you. That's what the King of Pentacles is. It's like, people are literally there like subservient to you. You are the king. So it's like you are building something that people follow. That feels like really, really beautiful for you guys. I'm super excited about April. I think you're going to be stoked on April. Now let's talk about July. So July 1st, we have Mars and Aries in the 6th house squaring Pluto in the 3rd house. And we have the Death and the 3 of Wands. It's interesting because the 3 of Wands reminds me a lot of this with Pluto in the 3rd house. Like this really transitory, and that's also the Death as well. It's like ending and a new beginning. That's kind of transitory experience. And so with Mars in the 6th squaring Pluto in the 3rd, you guys might be ending some chapter and transitioning into something new. You guys might be moving. You guys might be traveling. There's a lot of change here. But with Mars in the 6th, it's change coming from like a push through some type of different responsibilities. It can feel like it's a square between Mars and Pluto. So I feel like you're going to be stoked and like determined, but also stressed, if that makes sense. Like it's not a comfortable aspect. So I definitely get the vibe that like anytime we end a new thing and we go on another venture, it's a little scary. So I feel like whatever happened for you in April really takes root. And in July is when you guys have the opportunity to leave some old aspect of your life behind and fully transition into this new chapter. But again, for some of you that might be traveling, for some of you this might be like, I don't know, just the word transitory is coming up a lot. So like change and like not things and being in a flux. I'm not getting any sense of stability with these cards or even with this square with Mars and Pluto. The 6th house is quite busy. The 3rd house is also quite busy. So there's like a lot of like of upheaval, of activity, of busyness. And so that's the sense I'm getting is like you might even lack a little bit of groundedness. Like you're determined but lacking groundedness. So like just be a little bit more careful to have a practice around this time to help you transition, to help you ground through the transition. I mean, I wish I could get really specific, but I'm just seeing movement, like change and movement. And that means you have to leave something behind to move towards something else. That's the Death card. All right, now let's talk about August, which is the last big transit before, or last big aspect before I talk about the last retrograde. So on August 1st, you guys are going to have, let me clear this away. Mars and Uranus conjunct in Taurus in your 7th house of relationships. And then this can bring really sudden change in your relationship dynamics. Like, whoa, this came out of nowhere. Like, whoa, I'm ending with this person. I never kind of like thought I would do that suddenly. Or, whoa, I just met this new person. I'm like going all in on them. I never thought I would do that. Or, holy crap, all these clients just came to me out of nowhere. So yeah, the unexpectedness, the suddenness with Uranus conjunct Mars. But then it's also squaring Saturn the 4th. So it's challenging your foundations. Like I said, these relationships are where you're expanding the most this year. That's where the North Node is. So you guys are growing in your relationship dynamics and having unexpected people come in. But it's challenging your existing foundations. It's like, well, what about these old people? Or what about this other place that I used to live? Or what about this old way of being? It's like people are going to push you to grow. And so there can be some tension here. But Mars and Uranus is also sextiling Venus and Cancer in the 9th. So ultimately, these relationships are helping open you up to a brand new path or to a much larger vision for your life. Like I think people are bringing clarity. So these relationship dynamics that are coming in or leaving your life are making it really clear about your next adventure or where you are meant to go. And so I feel like it's going to help you significantly. But let's see what the cards say around this time. This is August 1st. 7 of Pentacles. Dude, that's what I was saying about like clarity about the long-term vision. Anything else that wants to come through? Okay, I'm going to leave it there. So actually, let me just see. All right, forget about it. Okay, 7 of Pentacles, 7 of Swords, Knight of Pentacles. I feel like this is kind of backing up what I was saying. So as I mentioned, I feel like certain people are coming into your life and leaving your life possibly around this time, challenging your foundations. But they're opening up. These people that are coming in or these people that are leaving are opening up the vision of what to do next. So that's what I'm seeing with this 7 of Swords. I feel like this should almost be like reversed. It's like there have been certain aspects. The 7 of Swords is all about what's hidden. Like we lack clarity, we're lying to ourselves about what we want, what we need, we're not sure, we're not certain. It can be about deception as well, like other people bringing in that lack of clarity, other people deceiving us or creating illusion in our life. And so that's something I will say, like there might be some people that fall away that create illusion in your life or who are not what you think that they are. So that's a possibility, although I don't see Neptune involved in this, so maybe that's not as likely. The other thing I will say is like us not being clear or lying to ourselves about what we want has prevented us from going like further planning into the future. Like the Seven of Pentacles and Knight of Pentacles are about working on these long-term goals and showing up really consistently to them. So having a big long-term vision and dedicating ourselves to cultivating a daily practice around that craft of to reach that vision. And so I feel like whatever was kind of blocking that clarity around what that maybe needed to be, or I don't know, anything that blocked clarity around this vision is going away now. And it's through this loss or gain of relationships that this is occurring. So that's what I'm seeing. I think I just kind of repeated myself, but you guys get the gist. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is the Mars retrograde in Gemini in your 8th house. So this is happening from October 30th of next year until January 13th of 2023. So Mars retrograde is a time in which, especially in Gemini, we really need to go back and reflect about our priorities and our thought patterns and kind of like where we are giving energy. Mars direct is all about committing to our passions, our goals. And retrograde, it's like, do I want to commit to that? But it's interesting because the 8th house is about shared resources. And I just pulled the Three of Pentacles, which is about working with someone or doing things with other people. And so you guys might be kind of reevaluating like the way that you show up to certain dynamics, or maybe it's a kind of like a pause or even a reset in like shared things. Like this keeps happening to me where I pull the 8 of Wands for the Mars retrograde, because this is the exact opposite of what is advised. So I'm going to flip it upside down. Most of my cards are right side up anyway, so that's probably why. But the 8 of Wands should definitely be reversed. It is a time of inaction or slowing down our action. And 8 of Wands upright is about going full force ahead. That is not the advice ever during a Mars retrograde. We have to take advantage of the cycles of life. This cycle of Mars retrograde is pulling back our energy to reflect about where it's going and get super clear. Specifically, this is about you with others, your relationships, not specifically your relationships in terms of like, hey, I like hang out with you, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I work with you, or our resources are mingled. It's like, it's more than just you and the person interacting. It's like you, the person, and another thing, something tangible. Like we work together at this place, or we both share a home and we both manage our finances. It's like there's some aspect of that that really needs to slow the F down and be catered to and be analyzed. You need to sort through it. You need to understand what you are committing to or what you are not committing to, because you and someone else and this third party thing can't just keep moving forward, because there are certain aspects that need to be adjusted. And if you don't adjust them, it's like when a kid or a dog, like a puppy specifically, runs really fast and then they like trip over themselves and fall head first. And it's like their feet literally got too ahead of themselves, right? Like they couldn't maintain balance. That's what I see here. It's like a toddler tripping over its face because it didn't take the time to watch its steps. And you don't want that. You don't want to have so much momentum that things like tumble and fall and have issues. And so please be careful October 30th to January 13th to really examine your dynamics with people, as well as that third party thing, which I don't know what that is. It's gonna be different for everyone, but it's some kind of like you with someone else and interacting about something. Like your resources, a lot of you guys is gonna be about your shared finances with somebody, not everyone, or like a shared goal, like something that you are really cultivating or working on or need each other for. There is like there's an interconnectedness here that you can't break, or that maybe needs to be broken, but you have to like actually go through and take the time and sift through all these things from the past related to that topic in order to break it, if that makes sense. So if you were getting a divorce, let's say, the 8th house is about maybe how you would sit down and look at all your assets during this period of time and reflect what goes here, what goes there, and not rush into anything. You don't want to draft up a contract and get it all sent out right away. You want to take your time with it. You want to really sit and analyze everything and do what's best for the dynamic as well. So that's what I'm seeing for that Mars retrograde. The very last thing I want to do for you guys, Scorpio rising, is pull a card about starting off the year and pull a card about what animal you have to end the year. So you guys start off the year. It's very interesting. Well, this makes a lot of sense. You start off the year as two birds, a bat and a hawk. So this is fascinating to me. So I definitely feel like you guys are swooping into this year, I think, ready to do some inner work with this bat. I feel like you guys have some kind of vision that you want to achieve with the hawk. I feel like there's some level of determination and readiness. It's like your soul, I feel like your soul has been preparing you for all of 2020 for this moment, for the South Node to move into your sign. It's a time in which you will have to let go of a lot of things that you hold dear. Not just hold dear like, oh, like this is so good for me and I love it. It's like hold dear, like hold on for dear life, because I've had this thing in my life forever and I don't even know what I'd be like without it, even though it's probably outdated. It's like that. I feel like you guys are maybe not completely consciously, but at least unconsciously with this bat, you are ready for change. You are ready for rebirth. You are ready to let things go. You are coming into this year as a soul prepared for this moment. And with the hawk, I feel like you are also tapped in to divine vision. Like you're having the ability to float up higher and have a bigger perspective of what the fuck is going on down below. So it's not like you're watching these people come and pillage your village. Is that a word, pillage? You know what I mean? They're killing people, they're burning everything down, and that is your foundation. And you're ready for that in a way. I mean, it's never easy, but you are the hawk looking down and you're able to see everything going on and see the larger perspective of why that's happening, what that's going to eventually allow you to do later on, like the rebuilding process and how that's going to cultivate a lot of change within yourself as a person, a lot of strengthening. So that's probably not the best example because that's pretty morbid, but I think that you guys have this keen inner knowing that you are about to undergo a massive change. And with this snake card here, as your outcome of the year, you guys, this is literally like what I think of when I think of Scorpio, is this complete transcendence and this recycle and rebirth period, this kundalini energy, this awakening process that happens from letting go and shedding our old skin and stepping into the new. So this snake card is confirming to me that you guys are absolutely achieving this level of awakening this year. I think it's going to be insane, the kind of person that you emerge by the end of this year, because you truly are shedding so many layers of who you thought you had to be, or maybe not who you thought you had to be, but who you wanted to be. I feel like you guys are shedding a lot of that and realizing new aspects of yourself and like what you actually want. It's like maybe a lot of stuff from the old is going to come up with these cards, a lot of stuff. And I think your soul knows, maybe you're not thinking about it, but I really feel like your soul knows what's coming. And it's ready to shed that old. It's ready to step into the new and be this vibrant snake that is emerging with completely new skin, stronger than ever. And that's what I see from my beautiful Scorpios. You guys are fucking awesome. And I hope that you guys have a super awesome new year. If you like this, please let me know in the comments below. Subscribe, give me a like. But if you're interested, I do have, like I mentioned at the beginning, 2022 astrology readings or tarot readings, whatever you want. Highly recommend checking those out because that will be personalized and give you a lot more information about what is coming for you. And it's crazy how accurate astrology is. So I hope that you enjoyed this and I hope you have such a blessed day and I'll see you later. Bye.